Testing 1, 2. Test.
Attorney in person.
2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. This is a test. This is only a test.
We'll call to order the City Council meeting for Monday, August 4th, 2025. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mark Bittner,
Here.
Shannon Derby, Bill Leclerc,
Here.
Doug Brandt,
Here.
Tim Petrie,
Here.
Bonnie Shimerlunas, Scott Steckmesser,
Here.
Adam Wahusky,
Here.
Darla Leclerc. Here. All present.
Awesome. And both attorneys are with us tonight as well, so we definitely have a packed house. If anyone is hungry and do want to offer to help yourself, there is cupcakes, cookies, looks like there's some cookies left, and cake. Please free to help yourself at any time. Something special is happening tonight. I don't know what it is, but we'll see what happens. I think it's because of the public hearing. So with that, public hearing, we do have two of those tonight. The first one is a public hearing to amend a conditional use permit for Ross Auto and Transmission Service located at 2005 Hawthorne Avenue in the Business District B2, submitted by TR Storage LLC, applicant and owner.
Yes, this matter, as well as the matter, for the second public hearing tonight, come to the council as a result of another application for conditional use permit for placing additional storage buildings, self-storage warehouses on the property. That conditional use permit was approved by action of the city council. However, the occupancy of those new buildings was conditioned upon addressing two existing conditional use permits, actually three. One was for U-Haul business, which is no longer transacted at the site. But so we're down to two previously issued conditional use permits as are listed on tonight's agenda, which have been modified based on Plan Commission review and consultation with the owners of Green Acres and the various businesses identified here. The applicants are here. I know we have some folks with an interest in the permits as well. Both are recommended for approval by the Plan Commission.
Okay, so we'll do the first one. This is a public hearing, so there'll be three calls. If you wish to speak on this first one, please step up to the podium on your left and state your name and address for the record. So I'll be opening up the first call for this public hearing. See no one, I will close the first call and open up the second call. I will close the second call and open up the third and final call. See none, I'll close the third call, bring it back to council, then looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended conditional use permit as recommended by the Plan Commission.
Okay,
Can I make a comment
yeah, go ahead.
as city attorney? As to form of the document, I believe for recording, we're going to need a half-inch of space at the bottom of the document. I think this is definitely not that much, so this document will need to be modified, and I can talk with Adam and get that straightened out. But as in here, this is technically non-compliant with the Register of Deeds requirements.
Okay,
But the language is,
Yeah, no objections to the
language is
language. It's just the margins.
solely as to form.
Yep, margins need to be a half-inch. I've had documents rejected for that before, so I'll connect with Adam and make sure that gets fixed.
okay. Thank you for that. So, Adam, original motion stays?
Correct.
Bill, you second it? Okay, council discussion. See none, yes, Doug?
Can you briefly outline what is changing from the previous conditional use permit? Anything change?
There are some provisions, as I recall, regarding outdoor storage. Outdoor storage would be in designated locations that were provided on the site plan, which I believe was provided with your packet. They're essentially behind the building, out of view. Dumpsters to be located behind the building and screened from adjacent properties. It does allow for retail operations related to the business. I think previously there was a general prohibition on retail activities. And that's
Hours
pretty
of
much it.
operation.
Hours
We
of
did change
operation.
hours of operation as well.
Okay. Yeah, I did not recall that, but they are specified as 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. No Sunday operations for the auto repair business.
Okay, anything else? Then we'll do a roll call vote. Amanda?
Shannon Derby,
Sustaining because I know the party.
Bill Leclerc,
Aye.
Doug Brandt,
Aye.
Tim Petrie,
Aye.
Bonnie Shimalunas,
Aye.
Scott Steckmeister,
Aye.
Adam Mohosky,
Aye.
Darla Leclerc,
Aye.
Mark Bittner,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thank you all for that. On to B, the second public hearing to amend a conditional use permit for Green Acres Landscaping located at 2005 Hawthorne Avenue in the Business District B2 submitted by TR Storage LLC applicant and owner.
This one, we probably spent more time at Plan Commission on this one and in the field because of necessity. The landscaping business involves more with outdoor storage of materials, equipment storage, and servicing, what have you. There was additional discussion and provision in the conditional use permit about screening and where the designated areas are for mulch, stone, and other materials, as shown on the site plan. And there is specific provision now allowing for retail activities. I'm looking for that here on the subject premises, because in addition to this being the base of operation for this landscape contracting business, under E, this permit shall allow for retail operations related to a landscaping business. I believe F is new too, that should existing tree buffers be removed or diminished, the permittee would install a 6-foot high privacy, that should be 6 foot, not 6'4", 6-foot high privacy fence or plantings along the property lines adjacent to any residential use. And there are residential uses on either side of the property. That's my best recollection. Adam?
There's something missing here because I thought we were allowing for them to sell on here too. And I think that's where the hours of operation were supposed to change with Ross Auto as well. So they would be the same, easier for policing. And I don't see that on here.
It's allowing 24/7 for employee access to vehicles for lawn care and snow removal.
Right. But he's got the greenhouse in back.
Yeah, and I believe you're correct. The retail operation should be subject to obviously less than 24/7. It doesn't pay.
Right. And
But,
I thought they were going to match Ross Auto, and I thought it was like 7 to 7 is what that was supposed to be, or somewhere in that vicinity.
I recall
Because
that
there's a
discussion.
retail operation that we were allowing in the back as well, or for people to pick up trees or stuff or mulch or stone or whatever that may be.
That was
As well as
7
with the greenhouse.
7 days a week. Is that what?
I don't remember if it was 7 days a week. I do remember there being times that we discussed.
Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, that was, okay, thank you. Okay, so the motion was made. Hours of retail operation be modified to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's for the landscaping. Modification, two-way traffic along the Easterly Drive to be permitted. No storage of combustible materials and sod would be stored behind the house or shop adjacent to water. Oh. Hose. That's right, because there was a question about that. So, do we have that here? Right. Yeah, I'm just looking on the conditional use permit that was given to the council.
I don't see
it
those
on
on there.
No, the retail hours are not. The prohibition on on storage of combustible materials and provision of sod storage. Don't like doing these on the fly, but those appear to be needed as additions.
I mean, we can leave Ross Auto as it is if you'd like, but I think in discussing at that meeting, we want to keep it the same just because they're two within each other for policing purposes. I think that was recommended and might have been recommended by you as well.
Yep.
I think just from a policing city standpoint, that it just made more sense.
We should be adding the hours of operation for retail sales at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. The prohibition on storage of combustible materials, compostable, I misspoke there, compostable materials. Because the concern was that you don't want commercial scale composting going on there. And sod to be stored behind the house or shop adjacent to where there's water available. And two-way traffic along the easterly edge of the property. I don't see that on here either. That was on the earlier site plan had one way in on one side, one way out on the other. I apologize. It appears item B, yeah, item B. Item A should have had the two-way traffic.
Do have them all listed. I don't see, I'm not the council president, but I think we should move on with it. And just whoever makes the motion, include them.
To make it
I mean,
entirely consistent.
all the parties
with
are
the Plan
here
Commission
with no
amendment.
sense in dragging them back again.
Entirely consistent with the Plan Commission's recommendation.
Correct.
And specifically is the two-way traffic and the 7 to 7 p.m. retail.
And no compost.
I'll make that motion with those 3 additional changes to this. Because you're
I'm
right.
sorry we didn't catch that before.
They've done
they
a great
got here.
job reacting to the community and making the changes. I don't want to have to come back.
Yep.
Make that motion with those 3 changes.
I'll second that.
Any other council discussion? We still have to do the public hearing part. I mean, this is just voting for the changes?
Well, you're right. We did not do, are they both separate public hearings?
Yes.
They are.
I don't have my
They're two separate
agenda.
ones.
They are. I apologize. We
Oh,
got
yeah,
ahead
it's
of
okay.
ourselves. there.
Okay, yep.
So
There's
with
an A
the,
and a B.
so we'll still hold the second public hearing with the changes that Greg has mentioned, the retail sales from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Two-way traffic on each side. And no compost
Yep.
on site,
Did you say each side or?
East side.
east side. Yes.
Those are that is what was discussed at Plan Commission.
Then for simplicity's sake, I think it'd be just easier to discuss as recommended by the Plan Commission then.
Essentially verbatim as, if that be the motion, as Plan Commission
If
adopted.
that's what the council intends to adopt, that seems more straightforward than trying to change this document on the fly.
I know we're on to, what is it? I gotta grab my agenda again. I know we're on to B, but do we want to go back and adjust A with the times to make that easier to enforce?
Is that
Because they are
feasible for
one
the
and the
council?
same?
Consider an amending motion relative to the first vote.
I don't see why not, and I guess based on what's in here, I think that'd be liberalizing if anything, so I don't see why there'd be a prohibition on removing conditions that were entered in error effect, essentially.
Okay, so let's finish the public hearing first because we're still in the midst of that for the second one. We'll finish that one up and then we'll go back and make corrections on the first one for the hours of operations. Sound good? Okay, so public hearing. We're discussing the amended conditional use permit for Green Acres Landscaping. 3 calls. If you wish to talk about this public hearing, please step up to the podium on your left, state your name and address for the record. I'll now open up the first call for this public hearing. Seeing nothing, I will close the first call and open up the second call. Nothing. I will close the second call and open up the third and final call. Okay, seeing nothing else, I will close the third and final call and then bring it back to council and looking for a motion. To approve the amended conditional use permit as recommended by the Plan Commission? Okay. Second by Bonnie. Any council discussion? See none, we'll do a roll call vote. Amanda?
Bill Leclerc,
Aye.
Doug Brandt. Tim Petrie,
Aye.
Bonnie Shimalunas,
Aye.
Scott Steckmeister,
Aye.
Adam Mohusky.
I do have one question. So it does say as recommended by the Plan Commission, our documents don't reflect that. So is it gonna reflect what the Plan Commission did discuss with the notes?
I want the person who made the motion, the seconder, to affirm that. My understanding was it was to be modified to be entirely consistent with the Plan Commission's recommendation.
Was that too, Bonnie? Okay.
Thank you. Aye.
Darla Leclerc,
Aye.
Mark Bittner,
Aye.
Shannon Derby,
Sustaining.
Thank you. Now we're gonna go back to A, the other conditional use permit for Ross Auto and Transmission, and change the hours of operation. I believe that was from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Correct, 7 to 7,
Was it 7 days a week?
7 days a week.
Okay. So then, we're looking for a motion then to change the hours of operation from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week.
I made the original motion. I will come back to this one and say we will amend that to be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week for hours of operation.
Thank you.
May want to likewise make note of, again, the two-way traffic along the Easterly Drive, because that was part of the Plan Commission recommendation on this one.
Along with the two-way traffic on the easterly side of the property.
We have a second. Thank you, Mark. Any council discussion? See none, we'll do another roll call vote. Amanda?
Bill Leclerc,
Aye.
Doug Brandt. Tim Petrie. Bonnie Shimalunas,
Aye.
Scott Steckmeister,
Aye.
Adam Mohusky,
Aye.
Darla Leclerc, Mark Bittner, Shannon Derby.
Okay, we are through all that. On to number 6, input from the public. I don't know if anyone here wants to talk from the public, but if you wish to, oh, we do have a gentleman that wants to. Please step up to the podium on the left. State your name for the record.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my name is Paul Tittle. I live at 2229 Ream Road in Manitowoc. I am the 25th District State Representative, and, I was supposed to give my phone to the chief, who's gonna take pictures when. I would like Greg to come up here, if you would, please. We would like to present a plaque to you. There's many things that I think Greg has accomplished through the years. I think one of the greatest things that he's done is some of the, like the Sandy Bay Highlands subdivision, the Cobblestone Hotel, Woodland Drive Industrial Park, Central Park 360. So you have quite a legacy, Greg. And I am just honored that Senator LeMahieu asked me to come. He couldn't make it tonight.
As I had said to Representative Tittle and Senator Lumberview when I saw this note, that's great. Again, congratulations on coming to a good compromise on the state budget. Is the audio going
Now
out? There
it
we go.
is.
Thank you for the changes made in the last biennial budget to the state shared revenue program, which truly were vital for older communities like Two Rivers. If that hadn't happened last year's budget, we would have really hit the wall on some services, and it made a difference. So thank you, and convey that thanks. And Andre Jacques is here as well. Andre, with our senator once removed and not that long ago, we thank you as well for your role in that. And Shay Sortwell, our former rep. Thank you.
Anyone else? Input from the public?
Jeff Dawson, Director of the Leicester Public Library, 4314 Tannery Road. Greg, on behalf of the Leicester Public Library Board of Trustees, the Leicester Public Library Foundation, and the entire Leicester Public Library staff, congratulations on your impending retirement. I don't have a plaque for you.
I thought this was about that overdue book. I was kind of swatting it here.
I'll talk to my people. We'll see what we can do. But
Okay.
I just wanted to express our deep appreciation for your support over these last 30 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks.
I don't have a plaque either. My name is Kim Graves. My address is 2702 Adams Street. Mr. Buckley, Greg, congratulations on your last city council meeting and upcoming retirement after 30 dedicated years with the city of Two Rivers. It's truly a remarkable milestone, and I wish you nothing but the best in this exciting new chapter. It was an honor to work with you for 23 years. I was going to put as your sidekick, but then I thought I better not. But anyway, your leadership.
Those are good
and
years, Kim.
your leadership and vision has been instrumental in many development projects throughout the city, like Representative Tittle said, Sandy Bay Highlands, Mariners Trail with the beautiful gardens, all the building projects you oversaw, Leicester Public Library, Fire Station, Cobblestone, Woodland Industrial Park businesses, harbor parks. It could go on and on. Too many to list because your unwavering commitment and wisdom has set a high standard. When anyone came through the office doors with an idea, you listened. You very seldom said no, and you treated everyone with the utmost respect. The coffee flowed freely on some of the visits. We always had pots of coffee in the office.
That's all lip flowed. Yep, coffee and water. During
Your
hours.
belief in the department heads over the years has always led the team to their full potential and professional growth. I will always remember those Wednesday afternoon staff meetings. Many laughs, but valuable discussions and decisions were made. You are a great mentor, boss, and friend. Greg, may your retirement be filled with joy, relaxation, and adventures of a lifetime with Kathy, Libby, and Alex, and of course, your sweetest little granddaughter, Hazel. I wish only the best for you and your family.
Anyone else? One more.
From the American Legion family, specifically the auxiliary, we want to present this certificate of appreciation to you for your unwavering support of not only our veterans support groups, but others as well. And any civic group that operates within the city of Two Rivers has always had the support of you, your department, your council, everybody. And we do appreciate it, and good luck on your retirement.
I'll head your way.
Yeah, there's openings at the senior center, by the way.
Thought they were all here for a special assessment hearing or something.
Right.
I haven't seen the chamber so full of happy people. The cupcakes, that always helps.
You know, I really didn't know if I was planning to speak or not, but I did have the opportunity to give Greg a call a few weeks ago before I knew I would have this opportunity, and won't rehash all of that because I think we're able to work very well on quite a few projects and issues for Two Rivers together. But I did want to share something that maybe hasn't been said, which is just how you embodied the city of Two Rivers. Been in this city a lot, and I can't tell you how many times I would see you riding your bike down Main Street. You stuck with the dunk tanks longer than I did. You never beat me in the running of the bulls for Kites Over Lake Michigan, but I'll tell you.
We both beat Mayor Schmidt, though.
Yes, we
Remember?
did.
Trevor's boy.
Every darn time.
Yeah, the wind shifted and he face planted right at the beach.
But I think, you know, in this role, you went far beyond what you needed to do to be an effective city manager, and you really embraced giving myself and others opportunities to be engaged. But I think, you know, most of all, you kind of transcended the requirements of the position to really enjoy everything that makes this area so great. And I know that I'll still be seeing you around when I come to events here in the area, but I just, one of the reasons why I made a point to be here tonight is just because I really can't say enough about the outstanding relationship that I had both working and personally with you in this role. And I just think that Trivers is definitely the better for it. So thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you.
Anyone else? Input from the public?
A lot of cupcakes and cookies and cake over there. Don't get it on the carpet, but you know, feel free to eat it here or take it with you. Just teasing. You can get it on the carpet. No.
It's not going to be your budget to replace it.
Go ahead, Mark.
I'm not, enough kind words can't be said about Mr. Buckley. He's done a great job. But I do want to recognize two individuals back here that allow Greg to really do the kind of job he did for our city. This is not an 8 to 5 job. I mean, many times in October and later in the year, you sat in that room across the hall till 9:30 at night with budget reviews. And he had the support from his wife and his daughter. And that's one of the things that made him able to do this. So we appreciate that too. Thank you, Kathy and Libby.
Anyone else? Input from the public? If not, my name's Scott Steckmusser. I live at 2325 41st Street. I didn't want to get up and walk over to the podium, but I wanted to say for me, not speaking for this council, but just for me, thank you, Greg, for everything that you've done for the past 30 years. You started before I was born. No, just kidding. No, I'm not. I wish I could say that, but
You're fairly
I think
young.
Kyle, I could say that. No, I can't either.
No.
But no, thank you for everything you've done for the city. I don't think people really understand, like Mark said, the long hours that you put in. Every day, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, and then Sunday, if we have a concern or something, we can email Greg and he responds back within minutes, if not seconds. So thank you for everything you've done. You've been an amazing asset to the city of Trivers. I won't repeat everything that everyone else said. They kind of said a lot already, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for the city, for making it a great place to live. And I'm happy that this is still home for a lot of us, thanks to you. And you've done a lot for us. So again, thank you very much. And much success to you. Sorry that you guys at home are going to have to put up with them a little bit more full time. But yeah, she's rolling her eyes in the back, Greg. I think you got to work on that. But no, thank you very much. We greatly
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
your leadership, Scott, and thank you, City Council, for the dedication you have to this community. You believe in this place and you give selflessly of yourselves. Thank you.
Anyone else? Last call.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'd like to say, from the time that I first started coming to city council meetings and I was complaining about my road, you listened, you addressed the problems, you printed out a map for me when I came to council with my concerns. And I just really appreciated that. You listened and problem solved with me. And now here I am, and working beside you has just been fantastic for the last almost 2 years. So thank you.
Yes, Darla.
Thank you. We've known each other for a long time, actually. Started off when I worked in engineering. And then I know Libby's here, and I'll tell her that I'll tell Olivia that I saw you. Libby and Olivia were dorm mates down at Madison. So, and then city council. But I'll tell you what, I mean, a lot of times in politics or in municipal government, things are very static. Everybody's got, a place for everything and everything in its place. That's not how it is here. We follow that, but it is such a family, and that's been the greatest thing, is because your door is always open. We know we're going to get a response, and you're going to be cheerful about it. I've never seen you mad. Oh, wait, one time.
Yeah.
And you were scary. But thank you very much. It's made my time on council really enjoyable. So good luck to you.
Thank you, Darla. Thank you.
Anyone else? I don't know if Chief's going for cake or cupcakes or.
My name is Dave Morris. I'm the fire chief. My address is 412 Lake Breeze Way. I just want to stand up here as a representative of the fire department and just acknowledge your unwavering support of this department since I've been here and long before I've been here in your tenure. Look at how far we've come. They talked about the business park and the park and everything else. We took a department that was firefighter EMT, took them to paramedic, critical care paramedic, SWAT medic, personal watercraft, all these different things you've done. You supplied the equipment and the training and the funding necessary in a fiscally responsible way to meet the expectations, in fact, exceed the expectations of the public and the city council. And you're to be applauded for that. So,
thank you, Chief. Clipping, which I forgot even existed from when we first lived in Two Rivers. Our first 5 years, we're in a bungalow style house on 26th Street between Washington and Adams. And there was one occasion where everybody in the house had the flu. We weren't in real good shape. And I was sleeping down the hall. Our daughter, Libby, was with Kathy. She was little then. And had one of those middle of the night, quick, grab the kid and get her to the bathroom kind of runs. And Dad came into the room and I passed out cold. I got up too quick. We all had the flu. Fell back, hit my head on the dresser, did a number on that old oak dresser, and knocked myself out pretty much. And so when I came to, I said, yeah, maybe you better get the ambulance. So our fine Two Rivers Fire Department paramedics responded. And it took me to the old hospital. Everything was okay when all was said and done. But also that bungalow style house, the ceilings hung low over the stairway, and it wasn't my head, but whoever was on my feet dropped me. So halfway down the stairs, boom, there was a drop. And I will say I got a perfectly clean prognosis and a fruit basket from the fire department. That goes back a long way. That might have been in Chief Pullman's day, but yeah, that's customer service with a plus, even if they did drop me. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, then we'll move on to council communications, letters and other communications from citizens. And by the way, please help yourself to cupcakes and or cake.
Yes, I did receive a couple.
Go ahead, Adam.
I had someone reach out with concerns about their 13-year-old riding the bike to the beach over 22nd Street and the 22nd Street Bridge with no bike lane. That was a concern from a mother that contacted me about that. And then also someone wondering if St. John's is tax exempt yet, as they don't believe that they do any kind of a church service anymore.
We can look into that. I recently had a citizen inquiry on that too.
Okay, that might be the same person.
Probably.
Okay.
Aren't we allowed to ride our bikes on the sidewalk on the bridge, 22nd Street Bridge?
Thought so.
Yes, all city ordinance does allow bicycles on bridges on all sidewalks.
It's
Or
the rest
on
of the
sidewalks on all bridges. Yeah.
It's the rest of the street after that they were concerned about. Yep.
Is it posted that way? Because people wouldn't know. They would assume that they have to be in the roadway.
It is.
We should double check. I know that
be
historically the
helpful.
bridges have had, bikes allowed on sidewalks on bridges. I don't know if we did put that back on Washington, for example, Matt, when it was reconstructed. But it's a good reminder. You're right. I mean, obviously the geometrics of 22nd Street aren't going to allow for bike lanes unless you get rid of a traffic lane. And it doesn't help you beyond the bridge because I'm not sure the council wants to start allowing that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think their probably concern is the bridge goes up and over and you may not always be seen.
It's a valid concern.
Anything else?
President,
Yes.
I had several neighbors complain to me about the street work between Monroe and 34th Street, about it's done well. They did all the cement work well, but they left the gutters and curbs open without seating it properly. It's dirty. There's pipes sticking out, and there's still a lot of barrels and things in the area. They need to finish the job.
See Matt making back. Yes, Bonnie.
I had somebody call me about Nashotah Park. You had done some improvements and they put a pathway through this more or less empty block. But the results turned out a little bit different than what was originally proposed, and she liked it better. She thought it was a nice touch. And then I had a second one who thinks that there should be more tickets given out at Nashotah Beach when there's too many cars parking and they're parking in the wrong, they're parking where they shouldn't. And then this person told me, 50 years ago, the police used to give tickets to people who came to watch the baseball games at Nashotah Park. And Two River citizens would park in the wrong spot and they would have gotten tickets, except they got smart. And when they saw the police, they moved their car and came back later. But I'll tell you what the police did. They came by with 2 officers in the car, and then they disappeared for a while. So that second officer was taking license plate numbers down. They wrote out the citations and they came back and distributed to them on the cars. I thought that was pretty clever.
So I can speak to just the enforcement this year for you. Just the enforcement of Nashotah Park. I would encourage that person to come down and I can give them the numbers, but we have been relentless in writing parking tickets this year and also towing vehicles. We've had vehicles towed each of the weekends since Mike's staff put up all the new parking spots and parking stalls and all the barriers around them.
Okay, so they're not outsmarting you guys.
We're pretty good. Karen Elson Peter, our most veteran lieutenant and officer who we can all appreciate, made it a point to sit on some vehicles on the very first week, and she waited until Custer came and towed them. Okay. Word gets out pretty quick when you see a couple vehicles on tow trucks.
Okay, anything else? Okay, moving on to number 8, council reports from boards, commissions, and committees. Anyone have anything? Yes, Darla.
I'm speaking for the Main Street Design Committee. Design Committee is very we take a lot of time going over like the festivals, planning those. And a lot of what you see out on Washington Street with the hanging baskets, the yarn bomb and with the banners. But we're also getting more into public art, and you've all seen the mural over here by what's going to eventually be Taco Bell. Okay. With the, and that was done in conjunction with Woodland Dunes. We're looking at going for our second mural, and we are in the process of writing a proposal to some organizations to see if they would give us some grants. Right now, it looks like it's very doable. One thing that we're doing differently this year is we're going to be putting out a call for artists. And we want to have more artists come in and give us their ideas, and we'll select, you know, the one that we think would be the best. So if you guys know any artists at all who are muralists, let them know to check the Main Street website, because the way we're going to do it this year is going to be just fantastic. We want to make sure everybody knows about it.
Thank you, Darrell. Anyone else? Okay. See nothing else, we'll go to number 9, and it's my honor and privilege to say City Manager's Report. Mr. Buckley, it's all yours.
Our first invited guest is indeed our new city manager, Kyle Cordell. Kyle arrived in town this past weekend, actually Friday, and probably will share with you some of the work he's already done, familiarizing himself with the community and meeting folks. As we've announced previously, Kyle comes to Two Rivers from the village of Lake Zurich, Illinois, where he served that community for the past 12 years. And he holds the position of, Director of Management Services and Deputy City Clerk, which was an internal promotion in 2023, but has a total of 12 years with the village of Lake Zurich. Holds his master's in public administration from a great program at Northern Illinois University, and an undergraduate degree from Eastern Michigan University in southeastern Michigan, his native area where Kyle grew up. So very happy to welcome Kyle. And at the end of the meeting, toward the end of the meeting, before closed session, as listed on the agenda, he will officially be sworn in as new city manager for Two Rivers in this 100th year of operation under council manager government in our community. Kyle, floor is yours.
Boy, oh boy, do I have big shoes to fill, huh? It's quite the honor. I'm very honored, and I am touched that you guys have selected me to be the city manager. And I am from Michigan. I'm not from Chicago or Illinois, although we have been in the Chicago suburbs for the past 15 years. We are tired of Chicagoland, and my wife and girls are really excited to come up here with me. They'll be joining me in about 2 weeks as we look for a house and find a house and get up here. They're very excited to be joining me. I'm very excited to be here. And there's a lot of things going on, and there's a ton of opportunity and potential here. And you guys know that already. I'm looking forward to working with the community. My values, especially in local government, are ethics. I'm big on ethics in local government. I'm big on transparency and engagement and respect. So I'm all ears, and I'm going to spend a lot of time just listening and getting the feel of the ground. So my door is open, and my email is working, and so is my phone. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you so much.
And I'd like to invite Chief Murat back up to our newest part-time firefighter paramedic at Two Rivers Fire Department. He's there.
He was all worried. I told him he had to give a speech tonight. Joke's on him. But the reason we're here tonight is I'm proud to introduce our newest part-time firefighter paramedic. He just started recruit training last week. His name is Nolan Zarn. The great thing about Nolan coming on board, it goes to the best and sustainable part-time program. This is one of the programs that Greg and the city council, you guys supported and we're grateful for because it's really working for us. If you look throughout this room, we have a number of people here. In fact, some of the guys on shift. We have Alex Downinger. He's a graduate at Two Rivers High School. And after retiring from the Marine Corps, he went to paramedic school and now he works for us. He was also an intern. We have Pat Kranick, who is also a part-time intern by us. He's now the shift captain. We have Joe Ewert. He was a paramedic student. He did not go to Two Rivers High School. He went to Cleveland High School, so we won't hold that against him. Andrew Toddy, who's not here right now, he's at the station. He's also a former intern and a Two Rivers High School graduate. And we have some guests in the house. We have Randy Pinchard, who spent almost 30 years at the City of Two Rivers Fire Department, retired as a shift captain. He too was an intern. Randy Reimer, who was retired from us and now cuts the grass at the parks, and you can blame him for all the garbage. But he was also paid intern by us and then went on to be a full-time member of the department. So we have a number of members in here that went through this program and became successful and productive members, giving a lot to the city of Two Rivers over the years. Along with Nolan today, we have his father, Neil, and Neil's another one who retired he's a former City of Two Rivers firefighter EMT and retired from the fire department here, and he's on to bigger and better things at the town of Two Rivers, helping them out. We have his mom, Shannon, who you may see at LB Clark. She's the glue that holds everything together at LB Clark. We also have his grandmother, Debbie, and his girlfriend, Paige. So Nolan is a 2023 Two Rivers High School graduate, and he's also a 2024 graduate of Lakeshore Technical College's firefighter paramedic program. And he's already been sworn in. Board.
Congratulations. Good job.
Yet another reminder of the great career opportunities that exist within city government for young people coming up in the community here. So thank you, Chief. And my report tonight with various status and update reports is either up on the screen or on the monitors in front of you. This was a shot of Nashotah Beach this past weekend. If you were down in the beach, a lot of local folks and visitors enjoying what we have to offer, and a phenomenal crowd for the concert on Sunday with bands on the beach. So that's our calling card this time of year. Thanks again, everybody who's here for Nolan's introduction. We continue to have a vacancy in the Community Development Director, City Planner position, and we are also accepting applications for part-time and seasonal cemetery maintenance worker. With just a reminder, this was discussed at the last meeting, the City Council's next scheduled listening session, this one on a Saturday in the morning, because it was pointed out not everybody is available on weeknights midweek. So Saturday, August 16, 9 to 11 a.m. over in the Costco room at the Community House. And that will be, help me out, President Steckmesser, Councilmember Shimalunas, and
Doug Brandt.
And Doug Brandt, yes, thank you. So opportunity for some nice informal conversation with council members about any issues of concern or interest. Monroe Street remains closed to through traffic for lead water service lateral replacement for between 16th and 22nd Street. Talking to Matt Heckenleibel, our city engineer, public works director today. If all goes well, by the end of this week, we would expect to see the street reopen to traffic. I believe concrete patching is done. Hopefully get those restoration issues done as well, so they're not getting in the way of traffic or folks parking. Again, we anticipate that will be reopened by Friday this week. Another little twist as far as closures, this started this morning and will continue until Wednesday morning, so deal with it at least tomorrow and then up till 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. That is the closure of the, I'll call it outbound lanes, either southbound or westbound, depending on which part of the bridge you're on since it curves. That is the outbound lanes of the Madison Street Bridge for concrete pavement repairs. We had some buckling that occurred there not too long ago. By the way, we are certainly aware of the big crack in the abutment wall along the west side of the bridge, and the Manitowoc County is lined up to repair that. We're told that will be done in September. That should only require a sidewalk closure as far as we know. Want to see that done. Sandy Bay Highlands Phase 3, we had still Joanne Kuba and other representatives of Weichert Realtors, the listing realtor for Phase 3. Again, the contract that was let last year is largely done. Electric and fiber utility installation is complete, everything except the street lights, which will go in after the curb and street paving. Some restoration work is underway, and you'll be, the results may come in early September, but we'll be out for bid as a city on the curb, gutter, and first lift of asphalt paving in August. The intent is to still get that work done yet this year. Happy to note that 5 of the lots in Phase 3 have been sold to date. And yeah, I'm cheating a little bit. That 5 includes a closing on Thursday of this week, but that's coming along well. And there are 2 other lots under contract for closing this fall. And those are with Lakeshore Residential. So that would make so far for a total of 7 out of 26 lots either sold or under contract. So coming along very well. Weichert keeps selling those lots, and hopefully we'll be seeing some more new construction activity starting shortly. Just a reminder again that Weichert Realtors Cornerstone is the realtor, and you'll be also seeing some work done this fall finishing up these stormwater detention facilities. Lead service lateral work continues. That's why streets all over the central and central part of the city are torn up these days. Here are the latest stats there as of today on the 2024 contract. The 2025 service lateral replacement contract work should also begin later in August. That's over on the east side. Neshota Park improvements, we've shown you enough pictures of the Pierce Street and parking improvements. Here's some of the newer stuff. There are 2 new small group shelters going up, and also the new paved trails, both out to the beach and connecting over to Garfield Street. A lot of positive feedback from the community on those improvements, and there's still a bit more to come this summer. No graphic to go with it, but the Harbor 16th and Emmett Street reconstruction project is to start this week. Have they barricaded those streets off as of today, Matt? Yep, so there are unfortunately some tree removals involved, and you should see work gearing up over there very shortly. Parks and Rec Department has a new initiative with girls flag football. We've got a highly successful boys flag football program going on. You might have caught an interview on TV with Kenny Shilcox from our programming staff, but girls youth flag football this fall over at Walsh Field on Monday nights. We're again through Kevin Krizik, our City Hall head maintenance person, reaching out to the community for a Two Rivers photo contest. Entries accepted, being accepted now through August 31st. And some of the winning entries from last year are on display on all 3 floors here at City Hall. Contact information for Kevin is on this slide. Tomorrow night is National Night Out over at Walsh Field from 5 to 8 p.m. Opportunity to meet folks from various city agencies, including our police and fire departments, city utility and public works vehicles. Our most popular staff members, Daisy and Zante, our canine staff members in the police department. There'll also be demos featuring sheriff's department drones, canines from our department, I believe the county as well. And there'll be burgers, brats, and hot dogs. there courtesy of Cool City Crime Prevention, and local scout troops will all be also serving up some treats. So always a great community gathering. Weather forecast looks good. Get on over to Walsh Field tomorrow night, 5 to 8. On Wednesday, if you didn't get enough brats and burgers on Tuesday night, Jeff, you have some other activities as well, don't you, at the library on Wednesday, along with the burger brat fry? You want to step up and fill us in on that? By the way, they do have a great burger and brat fry, and this is wrapping up summer reading program.
This is our big end of the year summer reading party. I forget what we're actually calling it, but we purchased a foam machine where we will fill the entire front lawn of Leicester Public Library with foam. So I encourage all people coming to wear their swimming suits and goggles. And I've been led to understand that the foam is not edible. So if you do get some in your mouth, you won't like it. So that, it's not toxic, no, it'll be fine. So do come and enjoy that along with the hot dogs, the burgers, the brats, the foam. There's also plexiglass plates that you'll be able to watercolor on and paint and create all afternoon long. So please come on down. I was hopeful that the title of the event was up there on the screen. It's not, and I forget what it is.
Beyond Art Splash.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is it up there?
It is up there.
Thank you.
Yep, that's okay. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. And by the way, if you haven't just taken the time to walk the grounds of the Leicester Library, there are the storyboards, which were an addition a couple of years back, thanks to a West Foundation grant. But right now, those grounds at the library are amazingly beautiful along that pathway that was dedicated a few years ago in memory of our council president and long-term library board member and supporter, Patrick Gagnon. So get out there and check it out.
Bragging as a grandfather, I had 3 grandkids today. I walked the lawn, read the stories. It's beautiful. It looks great. The flowers are vibrant and bright, and their stories are interesting. So I encourage you. And what a gift we have with the library. Inside, it was a delight to have the kids there too.
Are you going to be back for the foam on Wednesday, Mark?
Unfortunately, they have to leave for that.
Okay.
I would otherwise.
Okay.
But I
very
wonder,
good.
is there an age limitation for the foam? Because I'm excited.
I'll save some for you.
Oh, okay. All ages, okay.
You should be good. You should be good. So thank you for sharing that. Coffee with the chiefs. It's not just coffee with the cop anymore. It's coffee with the police and fire chiefs. That is next offered on Wednesday morning, 10 to 11 over at the Two Rivers Senior Center. You're welcome, whatever your age. Don't have to be a senior only to show up there, although I qualify, what the heck. But that, and again, a nice opportunity for some informal conversation with the heads of our public safety agencies. Also air any questions or concerns you might have. The Two Rivers Senior Center and all the volunteers associated there doing a great job again this year with the Back to School Carnival. The opportunity for kids and their families to come and pick up supplies for the coming school year will be on Wednesday, August 6th, 4 to 7 p.m. Over 300 kids are registered. Registration is closed, but donations, cash or items, are still needed. Drop off any donation at the Senior Center. This is yet again another great program of community support for our kids. Our kids. It takes a village. Robert E. Burns Post. I got to be good to the Legion. They were here earlier tonight with a plaque, and we're good at ceremony. This is a ceremony Wednesday evening. Also, this week, I don't see a time on their draft. Anyone know? It's 5 o'clock at Paddlers Park. And it's a respectful and appropriate way to dispose of your worn or frayed American flags. We display them with honor. We dispose of them with honor. And there is actually food, beverages, and entertainment at Whiskey D's with a portion of sales benefiting Old Glory Honor Flight as they continue working to take veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the various memorials of those that have served. Concerts keep on coming. Thursday evening, band concerts in the park downtown. This Thursday, the Two Rivers Community Band, hits of 2025, and Rodshire and Dr. Bombay on the evening of the 14th.
Greg, the
Sir.
band concert on the 7th starts at 6.
Ah, okay.
My daughter told me to correct you, so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you on that. 6 p.m. That's good. I'm glad I got it straight because I'm supposed to be at that concert. And I have a reputation to keep for being late, but I don't want to be late for that. Remind everybody of Rogers Street Days this weekend at Rogers Street Fishing Village on both Friday and Saturday, the 8th and 9th. Lots of great entertainment. Burgers, brats, but schmelt also. So this is the major annual fundraiser to help sustain Rogers Street and how they share the story of Two Rivers fishing and French Canadian history. So
Can I make a comment about?
please do.
About the help that they're having for their boat in the lake.
Fantastic. That's right. There were a few trawls this winter where it was like magic. They really hit schmelt heavy.
The smelt should be good.
Okay.
Did I say it right, Darla?
Smelt.
See, I just worried. I'm not a native and I was saying schmelt and you're saying smelt. It's like Trivers and Two Rivers. So thank you. I'll have tartar sauce with that. Upcoming events, another educational seminar at Leicester Public Library, Beekeeping from Hive to Honey next week on Thursday, the 14th, 6 p.m. at the library. Downtown Friday Night Live continues. That's downtown on the Schmidt Brothers stage in Central Park West. And that is courtesy of a lot of generous donors, including the Two Rivers Business Association and our own city tourism department, the Explore Two Rivers group. No concert this Friday because it is Rogers Street Days over at the Fishing Village. August 15th, the Charlie Bucket Band takes the stage. And Bands on the Beach continue a week from Sunday at the Rotary Pavilion at Neshota Park with Conscious Pilot. For all that information, because you're not going to remember all that from tonight, and there's so much more, again, go to exploretworivers.com for the latest and most accurate information on what's happening in Two Rivers. They've even got the right time for the band concert. I have no other reports to share. I did have just some brief comments. I was going to be ready tonight with a knockout PowerPoint, but somehow it didn't get done. So I'll just offer a few comments on this, my last official council meeting. You might have heard earlier, yeah, this wraps up 30 years. I'm not sure where that time went, but I'd honestly have to say to the council and councils past and this community, it's been the honor of my life to serve. I'm not going to do that. To serve this community. This is a special place. There's a sense of history, a sense of heritage and identity here. We're in a unique geographic location, blessed with these two river corridors that course through the community, pretty much unfettered access to beautiful Lake Michigan shoreline from throughout the community, 6 miles up through Point Beach State Forest, Woodland Dunes Nature Center, the Vanderbroek Arboretum. We are truly in a magical place. And I'm not going to, we all know that the community's taken some gut punches over the last 30 years as well, with the loss of some large, well-established legacy employers. I can also tell you 30 years ago, interviewing here, looking out the break room over roofs that had trees growing out of them before that was in vogue, thinking, oh boy, that doesn't look like it's going to last forever. And even not having grown up here, it was tough seeing that legacy of Hamilton, that once beating industrial heart of the community that meant so much, come to a stop. But Two Rivers moves on, and Two Rivers, like so many communities, is resilient. And we have people that have lived here their entire lives and for generations and love this place and see the potential in it. We have people also that are coming here by choice. They may have been introduced as visitors or tourists to the community. They're drawn by those same amenities, by the opportunities, by our being true to true. I saw Kurt Andrews out there, our branding as a community that supports innovation and small business. And I would argue we're doing okay in more ways than one. I'm especially proud of the investment in our civic infrastructure, our municipal infrastructure that's happened over those 3 decades because of hard work by staff, support from the elected folks on city council throughout the years, and ultimately the willingness of the community to support through their taxes, through utility rates, reinvestment, very necessary reinvestment to make sure that this community remains viable for the long term. We've spent tens of $millions in roadway work, in utility work. I'll rattle them off quickly. Early on, I arrived in town and the Lester family had generously put down a donation and a challenge for the community that became the beautiful, amazing Lester Public Library that now 28 years later is still a source of such great civic pride and such a cultural gem for this community. After that, we had a fire station that needed replacing and the community supported that. And my wife said to me, okay, you've been here past the fire station. You said you wanted to at least stick around for that. I said, well, yeah, but there's 22nd Street Bridge. And we have, with help of DOT on Madison Street and 22nd, replaced 2 state highway bridges. And then came the 17th Street Bridge, which was an entirely local bridge. We're still grateful to people like Congressman Tom Petri and Herb Cole, who ushered through an earmark under the George W. Bush administration for $8 million to reinvest in that bridge. It cost 13, but the state helped us out and the city taxpayers as well. We've got an ultrafiltration plant where Andrew and his crew can assure the city residents of the safest, best treated water, some of the highest quality water in the state. And we live on this lake, so let's not forget the folks at wastewater that make sure the waters are returned clean to the lake. There's been a lot of investment. We renovated the gem of a community house, National Register of Historic Places building. That was about a $2.5 million project with a lot of community support. West Foundation, block grant from the state. So those are all important things. And along the way, I think we've respected the community's traditions and history while still moving ahead. So a lot of capital projects, a lot of capital reinvestment, and that's great because there are buildings that have many of our names on them on plaques on the side and that's good. But at the end of the day, the thing that I've said this before, that's the most important are the people you see in the back row here at every meeting, and they stay awake and I know they text back and forth a little once in a while, but the leadership team we have in our department heads, the people throughout all of our city departments who provide an outstanding level of service to this community. And you ought to be proud, and I know I'm very proud of the people that we've been able to attract and retain to serve the good citizens of Two Rivers. And I'm very proud to turn to Kyle as my successor and say, you've got one hell of a team backing you up, and they're willing to innovate and take risks to a reasonable level and work hard with their staffs, with the community on behalf of this place that we all love. So thank you for that. And thank you for the opportunity. And again, I'll give kudos and then I'll cry again. But thank you to my family. My wife, I'm going to be at home every Monday night. 3 Mondays a week for 44 years, 30 here, 14 other places. I've been gone. So I'm going to watch more Monday Night Football games live. Hopefully not drive Kathy nuts. One other story. When we first came here, we're considering, I won't take much longer, but we're considering the job offer to come to Two Rivers. I remember sitting on the playground swings at McGee School, and Libby was about Hazel's age. She was just going on 3. And it felt like the loneliest feeling in the world. An opportunity, but sometimes the loneliest feeling in the world. Sitting on those swings. Do we make the move? We made the move. This spring, we took our granddaughter over to McGee School to check out the beautiful playground equipment, the new playground equipment. We sat on the swings and we said, remember 30 years ago, they got new playground equipment. That must be a sign other changes are in order. But things change, yet things stay the same, just as sure as those waves on our shore. So thank you for that opportunity. Thank you to my family. I love you guys dearly. And thanks to all the good people that turned out here tonight, and that Kyle will show up at your door at inopportune times and be welcomed to the city manager's office, because it's a trust. Public service is something special. And sometimes you hear people make out something different than that. What these people do, what you do as local electeds is special. And don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. It's special. It's a job, yes, it's a calling as well. And when you can serve a community with sort of great people we have, 99.9% of them, like Two Rivers, it's a great joy and a blessing. So thank you, and thanks for giving me the time. On with the show. Back to you, Mr. President.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that, but I'll try. On to number 10, consent agenda. Under A, we have presentation of minutes. We have 4 of those from the City Council regular meeting from July 21st, 2025, the City Council special meeting from July 23rd, 2025, and the City Council Plan Commission Environmental Advisory Board, Advisory Recreation Board, joint meeting from July 23rd, 2025, and the City Council work session from July 28th, 2025. Recommended action is a motion to waive reading and adopt the minutes. Under B, minutes of meetings, we have board review from June 24th and July 21st, 2025. Personnel and Finance Committee from July 1st, 10th, and 25th, 2025. Public Utilities Committee from July 7th, 2025. Business and Industrial Development Committee and Community Development Authority from July 22nd, 2025. The recommended action will be a motion to receive and file. Under C, we have finance reports from April, May, and June 2025 for debt services, general fund, Leicester Library, and utilities report. The recommended action will be a motion to receive and file. Under D, we have applications and petitions. The first one is a change of agent for Walgreen Company, DBA Walgreens, number 09166, Eric Smith, 2206 Washington Street, which is a Class A license and tobacco license. And the second one is a street closure request from Andre St. Pierre for Park Road on June 27, 2026 for a wedding. The recommended action will be a motion to approve the application and authorize issuance of the license and request. The recommended action for the consent agenda will be a motion to approve the consent agenda with the various actions recommended. Looking for that motion. Thank you, Bill. And second by Darla. Sorry, Darla, he beat you like by a second.
Next time.
Any council discussion? Yes, Adam.
I did read through the letter about the street closure, and I just want to make sure that we do have this right. As it says in there, we plan to like 3 different times. I just want to make sure that those things get done by probably someone. So page 213, it says, we plan to send detailed instructions to our guests. We plan to deliver information letters to the event. We plan to get information out to the residents that live on Park Road. I'd feel much better if someone would do that, whether it's these people or the city, not that we plan to. And then if it falls short, it's, well, we said we'd plan to and we didn't. That's all. Just so that the residents along that area are aware of this, not that it's just a plan to and then the plan falls short.
That is, happily, there's plenty of advance notice. On the other hand, that makes it easier for something to slip through the cracks. So
right.
That could be perhaps set up with police and public works to make sure the follow-up happens.
Yep, just to make sure something gets out to at least the residents for sure that they're aware.
Especially given the access issues with the dead ends.
Right, yeah. Correct.
I can also address that I personally spoke with him and the police department, making sure that this request was okay just due to Beach Bash happening down in that same area. And Lieutenant Elson Peter was concerned about emergency vehicles reaching down that street, which is why we limited it to one side of the street for them to use. And there will be signs placed, making sure that nobody parks on the other side of the street.
Anything else? Yes, Doug.
So it's not a true street closure. Residents can still.
Correct. Yes.
Anything else? If not, we'll do a voice vote. So all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. On to 11, City Council formal items. The first one under A, discuss status of sewer utility rate adjustment necessary for funding ongoing capital improvements.
Yes, this has been a subject of discussion at least the last 2 utilities committee meetings, and inclusive of tonight when they met at 5 p.m. We have identified the need for increased revenue for the sewer utility, which equates pretty much to 4% rise in revenues. That's driven primarily by capital reinvestment plans in the system. You know, we're replacing, as we go around doing lead laterals, in many cases, we're replacing these sanitary sewer laterals that lie beneath the street. That's the city's responsibility. We're doing some borrowing for that and getting great rates from state programs, but nonetheless, that debt needs to be repaid. We're also doing clean water fund borrowing for things like lining, I think close to 2 miles of sewer mains this year. So it has been identified, especially for the city to properly service that debt, and for the Department of Natural Resources and the Department of Administration, which administer the Clean Water Fund, for them to give their blessing to this being revenue debt or utility debt versus general obligation debt of the city. There is the need for that additional funding, about just shy of $120,000 per year, to have the necessary debt coverage or margin within the sewer utility. There are various options that are outlined in this one-page memo that was in your agenda packets from Greg Dressler of Town and Country, and Matt is ready to come forward, our city engineer, public works director, to talk about those alternatives and maybe provide an update if there's anything new to say about the Utilities Committee discussion tonight. Thanks, Matt.
So at the Utilities Committee, we had a presentation by Mr. Drosseler for about 45 minutes of the 50-some minute committee meeting. And he did review on a very high level a draft rate study. And it goes into a little more detail than the one-page, well, a lot more detail than the one-page memo that you received in your packet today. The various alternatives that we looked at or considered is doing just a overall single rate increase similar to what we did for the 2024 budget, increasing the fixed rate. And applying that across the board. However, at the last Utilities Committee meeting, we had made a recommendation to modify some of the burden onto our commercial industrial customers. And right now, they are discharging a lot of waste to our wastewater plant, or have the ability to discharge a lot of waste to the wastewater plant. So yes, they are being charged a volume charge. However, they are not always attributing or accounting for all the waste load potential. So what the modification of the ordinance that we're looking at is similar to the water utility, doing an equivalent water meter size methodology. So instead of all meters being treated equally, the larger water meters will count for more or be assessed a greater burden, so to speak, paying their fair share of the amount of waste being discharged to the wastewater plant. So that will go from a total of a little over 5,100 meters to a little over 6,000 meters. So everybody will still pay a fixed charge or fixed rate of meters, but the 6-inch meter will be charged significantly more than a normal residential customer's meter, which will still remain as one. So we're still working out some of those details. And then we're looking at increasing the volume charge slightly. That is a new added addition at the Utilities Committee meeting. And then looking at also implementing, which has been on or in our sewer ordinance, the category A to category B or industrial use customers. So those customers that are really discharging dirty wastewater into our system and are causing a significant impact at the wastewater plant, will be charged by the methodology that is called out in our ordinance, and they are called a Category B customer. Right now, we do have a customer that has been a challenge to treat their wastewater since about 2019. And we are been working with them since I've been here, and have an upcoming meeting in the middle of this month. And they are aware of the change of categorization from them, for them, and they'll be paying a substantial more towards offsetting the cost of treating their waste. So more to come on this. The plan is that we will have a more final rough draft for the work session at the end of the month.
Any questions?
Do other communities charge additional fees for the manufacturers who are discharging waste that's difficult to process? Yeah, so in other words, if we had somebody here and I agree we should do it, they can't just go to another community and get a lower rate, because I assume other communities are following forward with that practice too, right?
I know one off the top of my head during our committee meeting. That very same question was asked. The city of Green Bay has an industrial customer base. I believe the city of De Pere also has a separate industrial charge waste. I'm 90% sure on that one. The question was asked, does our neighbor to the south also have it? And I don't have that answer at this time, but we're going to verify that prior to the work session. As far as do other communities also implement the equivalent meter charge? Yes. Plymouth, Sturgeon Bay, again, City of Green Bay, Port Washington, just to name a few. So. Again, right now we are looking at about a little over 5,100 meters. Of that, there's about 150 customers that will increase are larger than the 1-inch water meter size. How many potential industrial customers do we have? I'm going to say less than 10.
And that would face an extra charge because of the characteristics of their discharge?
Because of the additional quantity of flow and potential
meter size.
Meter size and the characteristics of the strength of waste.
Adam, go ahead.
So you don't know what that, for number 2, you don't know what that charge would be for other meters?
In discussion at the utilities meeting, right now it is $18.85 for the fixed rate. The proposal that was being floated around was increasing that by $1. So everybody would be increased to $19.85 for a fixed fee. The volume charge would go up by $0.10. Category B, it's taking a formula and taking all the volume, the fixed fee, the strengths, and multiplying that out times various factors.
Okay. And I don't know that I want to sit here and punish those that provide us good jobs here in the city, especially if our rates aren't comparable to those that are around us. If that's my opinion, I'm grateful that they're all here and continuing to invest here. I don't want to sit here and single them out and potentially ruin relationships there. And I guess I also question why we're raising these almost every year, according to the chart. Not quite every year, but almost every year. It seems like we got to get the spending, I guess, in control or kind of figure out what the future is going to hold for that, because we're coming back. It's 2018, 2019, 2020. Then we skip 21, 22, we have an increase. We skip 23, go to 24, and now to 25 again. So there's been a lot of rate increases.
I don't know all the specifics, but just the general operation and maintenance of the system is a cost. And that alone is about a 3% increase per year. Then all the capital improvements that we are making to sustain our collection system and treatment system is at an additional cost. And within the draft report, there is a table, again, not complete, but it is showing our current debt service, some anticipated debt service, and hopefully this rate increase will take us through 2027, at which time there will be some significant debt falling off, which should then, assuming no significant infrastructure projects or need, should sustain us for, I'll say, considerable future. Do we know exactly? I'm not going to predict out 10 years from now whether or not this will be sufficient for a 10-year, but it should subside, at least hold us over for the next 3 to 5 years.
Do we have a capital outlay plan for this, for a 5-year plan as to what we plan? Because I know sometimes in budget review, we do that. We have a 5-year capital outlay plan for certain departments. Does this one have that same thing? And if so, how come it's not being caught, I guess, because we're coming back here almost every year for these increases?
Again, the community that I worked with in the past, we did an annual increase anywhere from 0.5% to 5% per year.
Yeah, well, this is different.
Well,
This is
again,
too early.
it's not different in
Yeah,
that
it is.
we continually have increase. In order to extend the life of our infrastructure, we need to reinvest in our
I
infrastructure.
get that, but there should be a capital outlay plan is what I'm saying. So we're not here every year with more increases. We should know somewhat what we need to replace year after year and kind of have that outlay like we do with other departments is what I'm getting at.
Looking at our past rate increases, we are averaging a 3% increase on an annual basis since 1995. And we are not keeping up with those rates, so.
Other side of the coin too, there's sometimes we can't control it, but the standards of what we have to meet may be rising too. What we discharge in our treatment process may become naturally more expensive by meeting higher levels.
And on that note, with our latest round of DNR discharge permit, they are requiring us to take a look at the lovely topics of accumulation of a lot of things.
We're back up.
So it's not just the DNR. I mean, it's the cost of doing business.
Well, they're forcing us to do more testing.
Again,
Pushing the costs go up.
chemicals are going up. Obviously, the cost to treat the waste, our debt is going up, to Adam's point.
Well, I don't know that it was adopted as formal policy by the council, but I recall Town and Country talking with the Utilities Committee and staff, talking with them several years ago and saying, you're looking at single-digit increases probably every other year for the foreseeable future.
That was a memo that was put together in 2020. and we haven't kept up with that rate increase.
I think it can be demonstrated. It's a prudent operation, but I think Adam's questions, we do need to back up and be able to present that information. Council. I would point out, I thought it was interesting in looking at this because you do hear concerns from folks about whether, for example, seasonal residents who pay maybe only a fixed charge during the cold weather months. And those might be people that come in from outside or local folks that retire and get to move south in the winter. If you look at this 10-year history from 2014 to 2024, that the volume charge has gone up 6.6% over that decade from $5.25 to $5.60 per 100 cubic feet. The fixed charge has gone up 54.5%. So clearly there's been, it's still more of a bill, and I don't dispute that, but clearly most of the additional revenue has been derived from the fixed charges that apply uniformly 12 months out of the year. Just an observation there to share. So I think even as the rates have been increased, the council's been listening to people's concerns about the manner in which they go up. On the meter charge, an interesting consideration too is while this would result in a higher fixed charge each month to larger folks with bigger meters, businesses with bigger meters. Right now, we're doing that on the residential side. Some council members might recall, we have an additional unit charge. So if you've got a 40 unit apartment building, you're getting that initial meter charge plus an additional unit charge. The idea being you've got multiple users at times, say from 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning, you're probably contributing a whole lot more flow to the wastewater plant than other places. So we're selectively hitting the larger residential type users now. And that there may be an equity consideration there as well. Not, however, affecting other large size users. There's an overlap of the big meter customers and those that are getting hit with the additional unit charge.
The commercial and the industrial users that are polluting wastewater, I'm not accepting giving them a break because we need to get them in line too and charge them more to do that. It's not, eventually the whole communities around us will follow suit too. Nobody wants dirty water and displace the lake here. And the standards of the state are monitoring it more closely. So that's going to happen everywhere.
Anticipate this coming back to Utilities Committee prior to going to the work session?
Not at
Straight
this
to the
time.
work session?
Straight to work session.
Okay.
Yeah, Bonnie, go ahead.
So number 3 is talking about the service charge for somebody maybe putting excess of whatever. And I know that there is a problem with a particular customer, but I mean, I don't want anybody to think this person is doing it on purpose. Is there a solution? That's what I'm curious about because it never seems to come.
We've been working with them since the early part of 2023. They have implemented a device that marginally improves their wastewater. However, it has recently come to light that they have a second point of discharge that has been continually to discharge into our sewer system unchecked. So because this entity is actually having a sewer lateral issue, they're going to make a repair, separate their domestic and production waste stream, and add a sampling manhole so we can determine more effectively what their actual discharge is. And that's required or is required under our existing sewer use ordinance. So yes, this customer is well aware of the burden that they've been putting on our system and have taken some steps to move forward. They have also retained a newer consultant that is helping them to try and minimize the waste discharging into our sewer system. Hopefully we'll have a clearer path from them as to how they desire to move forward in the middle.
Little editorial comment, the best solution, because that discharger's activities are imposing additional costs on the system. And that means if there's not a surcharge, that's costing all the ratepayers. The happier outcome would be to work with them and see them get rid of the problem at the discharger end, and not surcharge to recoup the additional costs they impose, but work with them so their discharge is cleaned up and there's not that additional cost. So always good when you can reduce the expense side of the
The
equation.
benefit of that would be
Yeah.
better too.
Right.
To that end, if the DNR sees no progress on our end, they could order us to evaluate our existing wastewater treatment plant and make treatment plant further improvements, which instead of costing everybody $1 for a fixed meter charge, could cost everybody $10. Don't quote me on that, but just an order of magnitude significance. So trying to work with this customer, we don't want to come down and be heavy-handed, but the reality is there is a cost of cleaning up the waste that is coming down to the wastewater plant. So, and we can talk more about this at the work session on the 25th.
Things to come.
Thank you, Matt. On to B, consider action relative to cooperative agreement with Why Not LLC dated October 6, 2022.
Yes, this has been a topic of discussion at recent meetings, and in your packet, starting at page 215, is a copy of the existing cooperative agreement between the city and Why Not Inc. LLC. Just to lay the groundwork, this existing agreement dated October 6 of 2022, that was shortly before the opening of Cool City Brewing Company in the property redeveloped by Why Not LLC, the former, Wells Fargo Bank Building on West Park Street. The agreement basically provides that the city, as owner of the community house parking lot immediately adjacent to Why Not's property, adjacent to the Cool City operation, the city agreed to designate 10 parking spaces on the east side of that lot along a retaining wall at the base of the retaining wall on the east side of the lot as public parking. And it is posted as 2-hour public parking, not exclusively for Why Not or any other business, but 2-hour public parking. What was the city getting? And likewise to allow placement of a dumpster to serve the brewing company location in next to the dumpster for the community house lot, effectively taking up 1 parking space in the lot. What was the city getting in return? There was an agreement for 10 spaces along the west side of a private parking lot owned by Why Not. And that's shown in the map that's at page 220 as Exhibit A to the agreement, that there'd be 10 spaces there reserved for use essentially for city vehicles, pickup trucks, trailers, that sort of thing. I will point out we've used that and then some in that lot, and there is a storage building there right now that is the city's. This council recently has authorized the purchase of that parking lot on the west side of Adams Street, owned by Why Not. It was felt that it was advantageous for a purchase price that was stipulated to pick up that area, in that parking area in its entirety for parking of city-owned vehicles and/or vehicles owned by the public. So then that has been authorized, and we should be proceeding to closing on that within the month of August. But that then raised the question, and our city attorneys weighed in on it during discussion at both the July work session and the last regular meeting, as to, well, there really isn't any consideration anymore for what the city granted under the agreement. we're going to own very, well, there won't be consideration as of the point the city comes to own that lot. So the question comes, what does the council wish to do with the cooperative agreement as council directed that was placed on this agenda? I would point out right now it would be a matter, you could negate the agreement if the council so directs, that it still becomes a public policy decision of the council whether you want to see the community house parking lot return to all community house only parking during the week or allow public parking. But it would be in the realm of a discretionary decision not tied to this agreement. On the matter of the dumpster, the council could, absent this agreement, either direct its removal, or I would point out there's been discussion when this was on the agenda in the past about something like an annual rental fee arrangement comparable to what is done with parking spaces in city lots that are rented on an annual basis for $200 to businesses. The one current example of that would be the Two Rivers Clinic to meet off-street parking requirements, leases space by Walsh Field over by the Garfield Clinic. So that is the issue. We have both attorneys here in person tonight that can advise you on it. And I would say any direction should be prospective and conditioned upon closing and the city's ownership of the what is now a private lot.
I do think we rip up the agreement, obviously. I think we pretty much have to. And I do think that we should return the parking back to the senior center until 4:30 PM and obviously all weekend long. I think that it is a senior center parking lot. It is for the seniors essentially. And with growing numbers as reported by our director, that they need more parking spaces than probably what they did in the past when they had these 10 extra spaces. Or actually that was maintenance vehicles. So they never really had these 10 extra spaces, but could definitely use them. And again, the whole senior center parking lot essentially opens up at 4:30 to pretty much public parking. And all weekend long when the senior center activities are kind of over and the Casca room gets rented out to the public parties, or they use it for other classes at the rec department. And yes, I think the dumpster should stay if they wish it does stay. And of course, have the $200 fee as we do with other people within the city, namely Aurora.
Dinner closes at 4. Do you want it to be 4:30 or do you want to have it at 4 to coincide with the closing of the?
I think it would just coincide with whenever the senior center closes.
And just, if I could, just a point of correction, I went back and checked with our Parks and Rec Director, Mike Mathis, and he can speak to it. But the restriction as it existed and as it exists for the other spaces other than these 10 right now is community house parking.
Okay.
It's not senior center per se. They're probably the power users during the day, but just so you know, it's community house parking.
It means all events at the community house, basketball, gym, anything at all. Not just, as a member of the senior committee, I've never heard the committee raise concerns about those public parking changes of 10. There's no concern, at least from the committee standpoint, that I've heard. I think we're overestimating the value of that parking to the restaurant. I think other people park there too. I watched on Saturday, some people park there and walk to the band and other things. So I think it's not only the restaurant, it's just parking for the community. I don't feel we need to spend the money to do it. I just leave it and let it go. But I do feel we should charge them for the dumpster space. Whatever the going rate is, we should charge them for the dumpster. Contract, there's no two actions I would consequences.
The whole parking lot opens up after 4:30 on the weekends. You just referenced those Saturday concerts and stuff like that. It already does open for that.
Well, I'm telling you, Adam, I saw people parking in that public spot.
Yeah,
and they
it's
walked
open
over.
at that
Okay.
time.
Okay, but
That's what I'm telling you.
All right.
They can park there.
In my opinion, you have your opinion, I have mine. My opinion is it's not necessary to do. It's an overkill on the situation and other people are going to park there anyway. So or the seniors. I've heard from the senior being on the senior committee. I've not heard any complaints or concerns about people not parking or finding places to park. So.
Any other thoughts?
Yes, the city attorney, I'll flag, I guess I kind of see there's three options here. I just want to kind of parse those out. The city could do nothing and proceed as the agreement's, is drafted. The city could terminate the agreement pursuant to the agreement. The city has either party has authority with 1 year notice to terminate the agreement. The agreement would just end after the 365 days. Or the city could terminate it now, citing lack of consideration. That'd certainly be an option. We want to flag those. There's potentially three options there. And certainly, I don't think there's an issue with terminating due to lack of consideration, but there'd certainly be even less grounds to challenge that if they're simply terminated with the 1 year notice. So I guess there's a few options here. I just wanted to flag those for the council.
Flat altogether. The agreement was already terminated because there's with the purchase of the parking lot. The agreement was a piece of paper that's no longer valid.
Well, it's not terminated. It could be, right?
But if the arrangement with them, we own the parking lot now, and what's the agreement? I guess it's terminated. There's no agreement between us and Why Not in the facility. We own the parking lot now. We're parking there and we're expanding it.
Sure. No, and I think we're saying the same point here. Whether something, I guess, is actually terminated or if it's in effect terminated, just, parsing that difference here. A contract can be unenforceable, but it still exists and the parties can still abide their conduct to it. It's just the lack of an enforcement mechanism. The city could certainly proceed in that manner if it wished. Or it could terminate, or it could give notice. But really, I guess there's a few options there.
I would think you'd have to express something towards them to say the agreement's terminated. You can't just assume that they would assume that it is.
Oh, correct.
Correct.
Yep.
And
No,
I think that's what you're saying.
Yep.
Just to build on Sean's comments, if you let it run the current term, it's a 5-year term, so it would expire in October of 2027. There is the 12-month cancellation clause by either party. If you wanted to terminate it as the result of the city acquiring the lot, you might want to give that'd be at your discretion, but something like a 30-day notice post-closing on the acquisition of that lot. If you feel the need to terminate because there's no longer something you're getting in return.
That was just my point to flag those three things. Certainly, I'm not getting into the politics and what the council should do. I don't think that's my role as a contractor, but just flagging that there could be potential for disagreements there on if the city were to declare it on purchase, the agreement's invalid. That there's potential there could be disagreement or just political or personal differences between the grantor and grantee in that case.
Anyone else? It does say in the contract, you could give them 5 days, 5 business days.
Yeah.
So it's a default.
Yep. So that's what we'd do. Yeah. If the council wanted to, we'd say you no longer have the property. Here, you're in breach. Here's the 5-day notice, and then that would be terminated at that point. You can do the term for 365-day advance notice, or wait till the end of the term.
Yeah. So, what would we like to do? Recommended action is council discretion.
A question for Adam. You were saying that it would be open to the public after 4 or 4 o'clock. Did you decide on?
I do believe that's what the signs say now, correct, Mike? There used to be signs up there that I think said 4:30.
Senior center closes at 4. Community. What that is, I honestly can't remember off the top of my head what that sign says. It's 4:30 though.
Okay, but there is a sign already that states that.
One or the other.
You're right, correct. Well, whatever the time is, there's a sign already up there that states that, so just make the whole parking lot uniform.
Yeah.
But as far as public parking, it would be after 4:30, Monday through Friday.
And all weekend long.
Okay, I like that.
Does that include then if there's an event at the community house at 6:30 or activities beyond the normal community house time? Does that negate parking in that lot or how's that work?
No, it's open. That's what the sign says.
Yeah, just do first come, first serve.
It's not restricted, it's just.
Yes, Bob.
I think it would be a good idea to go back to whatever it was before the contract. You know, I don't want the people that are going to, I never can remember the name of the place, that are going there to get used to it and think that is their parking lot. I mean, do you understand what I mean? And so to go back to saying this is a public, I mean, this is not a public parking lot until after such a time, just to get used to it now. And I think they should pay something for the dumpster if they're, I guess it's all right if they keep it on our property, but if they do, they should pay something for it. Because that's how we would treat anybody else, I would think. Anyway, it's my opinion.
You're looking to remove the current signs that are on that wall that say, I think, public
Well,
park?
technically, we are here talking about the agreement with Why Not LLC. So do we keep the agreement or not? Right. After that is when then we have to decide about the parking spots.
Thank you.
Do we keep the parking spots there or not? Because really, right now, it's just the agreement. According to the agenda, it's just the agreement we're talking about. So if we were to cancel the agreement, it's done after we close on the property. Then we could decide now, or we could have it go back to advisory rec board or public works, whoever determines parking, and have them
Just put
figure it
this to
out.
bed. I mean. you
Right,
know,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like the idea of we're purchasing it. They will no longer own it. I don't see why we would want to fulfill a contract that makes absolutely no sense. I would say 5 days, they should know that 5 days after closing, that's their 5-day notice, which they would get now.
Would you like to make a motion based on that?
Sure. I hate this part because they always do it wrong. I make a motion that as far as the cooperative agreement with Why Not LLC dated October 6, 2022, that as we are purchasing it, there's no reason to continue on with this contract, and that upon closing, that is when the 5-day notice clock starts ticking. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I will second her motion.
Thank you, Adam. Council discussion. Anything else we need to talk about?
Clearly, that would be due to there no longer being any consideration or any benefit derived by the city from the continuation of that contract. Okay.
Under provision 5, the default and right to cure provision, it would effectively be, they'd be in default. City would give notice, they'd have 5 days to cure their performance. The way that have to do that would be to buy the lot back, which they obviously wouldn't do. So then, yeah, after 5 days, we'd be good to go.
Should we add the dumpster?
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
should we just throw the whole thing in there?
Yeah.
Because what are they gonna do in 5 days?
Yeah. we might as well
If we
tell
don't
them.
have some kind of an idea for them of what they can do, whether to get it off or to lease it.
Yes, I agree. I was just gonna say the same thing. I think we need to add something about either removing the dumpster or keeping the dumpster. If they want to keep the dumpster there, we then charge them the same rate that we charge other,
I like the idea
businesses.
that they pay a fee.
or they remove it. If they don't want to pay it, then they remove
Right.
it someplace else. So
I
is that how
agree.
you want to amend that?
Yes.
Yep. Adam, you agree with that?
I agree.
Do you have that?
A fee consistent with what the city.
with whatever
charges for
whatever it
parking
is for other
spaces.
parking spaces, and if it's $200, whatever it is, I don't
Whatever
think
that
it's that big of a fee. I mean, you're talking less than,
It's
what,
$200
10?
and literally change.
right?
So-
So it's $15 roughly.
I'd flag one more point in provision 3. We have a time requirement for timing for servicing of the dumpster. Just flagging that council might want to consider when, if those same, we would want those same provisions to apply as a part of the new agreement for the use of the dumpster. It might be your intent, but I don't think we've discussed that, so I wanted to flag that.
And right now that occurs between the hours of midnight and 7 a.m. That part same as?
Status quo.
Okay.
Doesn't like that agreement.
Don't be sorry.
She doesn't like it. No, she's not for it. So anything else? Anything else for the agreement? Yes, Doug.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the importance of this parking spaces not being public is being exaggerated. And I mean, somebody going to the community house, senior center can park there if they're only going to be there for 2 hours. I mean, how long does one person stay at the community house? Quantify that? I think.
What are the senior center
It's a
hours?
benefit to have it for public parking. I mean, it's not that great of a benefit to the brewery either. It could be possibly a benefit to the post office.
Oh, yeah.
Service their stuff at the post office.
Sure.
I see value in public parking spaces. Besides, as we discussed with the purchase of the parking lot, employees are free to park across the street. I've driven past at, I don't know, early afternoon. And cars that I know that belong to employees are parked in the senior center parking lot, which could be relocated to the newly purchased parking lot and opening up spaces for, I want to go to.
I mean, the parking lot we bought,
Yes,
you want that?
employees could park there as well as Parks and Rec trucks. There's plenty of space.
Oh, you know, that brewery could have kept that parking lot for themselves, for their own customers too.
Well, if I recall, the original intent was to kind of clean up the sight line for the community house and get the trucks across.
If the trucks park there, then how can it be a public parking place?
Not a
So
public parking space.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Employees.
No, but I mean, it's not, you're not making sense to me. I'm
So-
sure you do because you don't like them.
We have a,
Guys,
we have a motion right now on the table, which is just the, what to do with the agreement. I think that discussion is certainly one the council can have later and is free to have. I don't think it's germane though, irrelevant, I guess germane, relevant, whatever you want to say to the motion that's on the table.
Are we not talking about the parking as well? I figured that was included in on that. I mean, we're doing something with the dumpster. I don't know why we're not doing anything with the parking. It's part of the agreement.
I don't disagree with that. I guess I would just suggest the dumpster is clearly a private benefit. It's specified for a particular business's private dumpster. That excludes any other use of it. You could address the public parking as well, which indeed you committed, the city committed to in the context of this agreement. Or you could consider that separately because you didn't devote parking exclusively to Wine Knot LLC.
Oh, but we did
You
do it to
designated
this
as
agreement.
public.
But it was part of this agreement though, which is the reason why it became, and we're shredding this agreement. So now it's what to do with the agreement afterwards.
Right. This motion would void the agreement. You could do it that way, or you certainly could take up the parking issue as simply a matter of public policy on public parking for spaces that arguably benefit any business within walking distance.
I mean, I've been to the community house and I've been there well more than 2 hours, sometimes even for a public meeting.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's very easily, I'm there every Sunday in winter and I'm there for 5 hours every Sunday. usually from November through March. So people are there longer than 2 hours, quite often.
Public parking.
Not in the 2 hour parking spot, it's not. It's still 2 hours.
Rest
That
of the
remains
parking
2
lot's
hour.
Public parking at that
Correct,
point.
but that's, you said who's there
I'm
more
saying
than 2
on a
hours?
Tuesday, Aunt Mabel.
No,
goes
we're
to
there
the
on Wednesday
community
too.
house. Okay, on a Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Mabel wants to go to the community house. How long is she gonna stay?
We have people that stay quite a while. We have it rented out.
10 people either that don't need.
Yes. Yes,
There's their parking.
we have more than 10.
Public parking.
We have more than 10. So those other spots are taken up by anybody else because the whole lot becomes public parking, Doug. Those spots could be taken up and the other ones are just left. You can shrug all you want, but I'm telling you, it's rented out. You can ask Mike for the documents if you'd like.
It's a different situation.
Why?
It's a different situation because it's not Aunt Mabel going to the senior center that day then.
We're talking about the restriction of 2 hours.
Talking about the times you're talking about are public, the whole.
Not in the 2 hour parking. It wouldn't be. It's still 2 hour parking.
The rest of the parking lot is available for them to park in as long as they want.
As long as they're not being used, correct. I mean, if they're used, and if it's used, then you're back to 2 hour parking. Yes,
Not on a Sunday.
I think we should call for a vote.
Yes. What's my opinion? I say we stick with what the motion is right now. And it is just to cancel the agreement and for the dumpster to, I don't know what the exact, can you just read the
Need
motion?
to cancel the agreement and then offer a lease of the spot for the dumpster use pursuant to the terms in the existing agreement for a rate of $200 a month.
Correct. The parking, I think we should come back at a later time.
I would agree. I don't think we're noticed for that right now. And if people presumably wanted to make comments on that, I think we'd be required to give them notice.
Right. Because once we own the parking lot across the street, we tear up this agreement, the parking can stay the way it is right now until we as a council or a committee makes a decision to change it.
Can I just throw in my 2 cents? Public parking after 4:30. As far as the restaurant, when are their peak hours? They have people come in for lunch during the week, but really it's going to be for their dinner crowd. So I think 4:30 makes sense. I liked the idea of having designated spots just for the public, but with the times that we're talking about, I still think it would work. And then as far as the restaurant or the funeral home or the post office, they would still, well, the post office is closed on the weekend. Forget about them. But as far as, like funerals typically are what, Fridays, Saturdays? And they're not going to start at 12 o'clock, at noon. So I think if we just do, it would just make it so much cleaner. Up until 4:30, it is open to seniors or community house people, who are attending something. And then after 4:30, first come, first serve. Just take a break, just make it simple.
So let's do a roll call vote. We're voting on to terminate the agreement after we purchase the property.
Give them a 5-day notice.
Give them a 5-day notice.
And then have
Dumpster,
consistent with other parking in the city.
what Amanda just said. Yes.
Yes.
Roll call vote.
Okay.
Repeat the motion again, because I want to make sure the dumpster and is there anything else?
So the motion is to purchase, after we purchase the parking lot, 5-day, we'll give them the 5-day notice that we're going to rip up the agreement due to section 5 or section 5.
Section 5.
Yep. And then we will lease a spot for the dumpster to be consistent with other leased parking in the city.
Pursuant to the same use.
Correct. Roll call vote, Amanda.
Bonnie Shimalutis.
Aye.
Scott Steckmeiser.
Aye.
Adam Lahusky.
Aye.
Darla Leclerc. Mark Bittner. Shannon Derby. Bill Leclerc.
Aye.
Doug Brandt. Tim Petrie.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, and I think the parking part is important to decide that at some point. I mean, I recognize everyone's opinions and everyone are very passionate about these parking spots and with good reason. So I don't know if that's a committee that has to look at it first or if we should look at it at some time in the future, but that'll be something that Kyle can help determine. Okay, on to C, consider amendment to 2025 city budget related to inspection services.
Yes, I'd shared with the individual members of the finance committee as we came in tonight. I recognize that I need a little to give it a little refinement on that. So I would recommend tabling. I will prepare a revised amendment, which I'll furnish to Kyle for bringing back to council at the next meeting. I would like to note, though, that the Personnel and Finance Committee's action recommending the amendment is intended to indicate support for full-time funding of the building inspector position and provide the necessary resources. I just recognized too late this afternoon I had miscalculated the cost allocation of the city manager's budget, which is 55% general fund versus 60. So it threw my number. That can come back to the council at the next meeting.
So looking for a motion to table it to the next city council meeting, which is on
August.
August.
I'll make a
18th.
motion to table it for the next.
That would be nice to have a month. and
You
a
were
half
just
off.
wishing, weren't you?
Yeah, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
I'll make the motion to table it to the next meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you, Darla. You beat Bill that time. We'll do a roll call vote. Amanda?
Scott Steckmeiser.
Aye.
Adam Lahusky.
Aye.
Darla Leclerc. Mark Bittner. Shannon Derby. Bill Leclerc.
Aye.
Doug Brandt. Tim Petrie.
Aye.
Bonnie Shimalutis. Motion carries.
Okay, on to D, resolution adopting amendment to personnel policy manual regarding employee residency requirements.
Okay. This is something that's been discussed at the last 2 or 3 personnel and finance committee meetings. Let me tell you what it's about. This is not about intending to grant a variance or grant greater flexibility on residency to any specific position. Well, it addresses it, but the motivation for this is closer compliance with the provisions of state law. Since 2013, when there was legislation included in the state's biennial budget, municipal units have been prohibited from requiring residency of municipal employees, with the exception of police, fire, and emergency response employees may be required to reside within 15 miles of the local unit's corporate limits. That's the most a city can require. In response to that legislation passing in 2013, the council by resolution adopted the current language of our personnel policy, which identifies that all city department heads and the information services director and all parks and recreation staff and all utility staff, with the exception of support staff, be required to live within 15 miles. They were all deemed to be emergency response employees. And that's fine. And I should mention the 2013 legislation didn't provide a definition of emergency response employees, nor has one subsequently been provided in statute, nor has, per our labor attorney, nor has that term been better defined as a result of any litigation. However, I think it's fairly clear that our rather broad language from 2013, which, for example, by including all department heads, included positions such as city clerk, finance director, and library director, is probably a bit of a stretch when it comes to emergency response. We've since added a position of tourism director at department head level. So this amendment, while we don't have any active complaints or threat of litigation on this, is intending is intended to be more precise as to the positions to which residency applies. And I think that's even amplified in the resolution that's presented to adopt this change, because if there ever is any question of legislative intent, it clearly states why various positions are required to live at least as close as you can require them to as a local board. I'm going to spend a little time going over that. You know, we cite in the resolution starting on page 223 of the packet that the 15-mile residency would apply to city manager and city manager's administrative assistant to direct administrative operations and coordinate communications with elected officials and the public. The IT director would stay subject to the requirement to provide IS support to emergency operations. The director of public works street supervisor, and all street division employees to respond to emergencies. And we cite some examples there by way of example, but not limitation: snow and ice events, sanitary sewer blockages and backups. If you got raw sewage backing up in your basement, I think most of us would agree that's an emergency. Things like stormwater backups as well, street flooding, downed limbs, etc. We would expect a continued requirement to apply to the wastewater superintendent and all wastewater operators to respond to emergencies either in the collection system or the plant. The electric utility director and all line workers and electricians to respond to emergencies such as power outages, downed poles and wires, motor vehicle accidents where there's an emergency need to or fires for that matter, de-energize circuits, assistance to other city departments and agencies where there are emergency power or lighting needs. The water utility director and all plant operators and distribution staff would remain subject to the requirement to respond to emergencies in the distribution system or operation of the water filtration plant. Instead of the entirety of the Parks and Recreation Department, I've got a hard time making a demand that programming staff be within 15 miles. It would be specifically the Parks and Recreation Director and all Parks and Rec maintenance and facility staff and City Hall maintenance staff to respond to emergencies, including damage to or failures to parks and public buildings where there's a need to undertake emergency repairs, secure them, or restrict public access. Again, downed limbs and trees in the streets and on public properties. These are the people you see out with chainsaws along with public works cleaning things up. And situations that necessitate opening public buildings as emergency shelters. We have emergency generators for this building, the community house, other facilities. If you need to open them up, you need building staff. So who does this carve out, if you will, from existing residency restrictions? That's listed on page 222 at the bottom of the proposed language. The city clerk, the finance director, tourism director, library director, civil engineer, which is the second engineer that reports to the city engineer, the engineering tech, Parks and Rec programming staff, and police and fire clerical and office support staff. I'm sorry, they were already out. Scratch that one. But already out per the current policy are those clerical and office support staff in police, fire, public works, utilities, Parks and Rec, the zoning administrator, the IT assistant, library staff, and the police community service officer. This also does put the police assistant chief in the same category as the chief residing within that 15 miles. So this isn't by design to accommodate anybody's residency preference. This is about fine-tuning our requirements to better adhere to statutory language. And it has been reviewed by Jim Carroll, our labor attorney at Bulow Vetter, and recommended for approval by the Personnel and Finance Committee.
Nor does this affect any current staff members.
Correct. And understand, we have a lot of people that live, our city employees that live in the city, whether in the city or proximate to the city, whether they're required to or not. You're not going to have a bunch of people picking up and moving as a result of this. But we have a cleaner definition, more consistent with the admittedly not very respectful of local control state law that we've operated under for 12 years now.
No leniency in the current state law.
And looking for a motion. Reading and adopt the resolution.
Adopt the resolution.
Okay, do we have a second? Thank you, Shannon. Council discussion. See none, we'll do a roll call vote. Amanda?
Adam Husky,
Aye.
Darla Leclerc,
Aye.
Mark Bittner,
Aye.
Shannon Derby, Bill Leclerc, Doug Brandt,
Aye.
Tim Petrie, Bonnie Shimalunas, Scott Steckmeister.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, on to number 12, swearing in of new city manager Kyle Cordell.
City Clerk and Mr. Cordell will step forward for the swearing in.
You made it here, still here yet, so that's a good sign, I guess. Still here.
Fresh moons either.
Starting to think a little harder about it now.
Oh, yeah.
I, Kyle Cordell,
Solemnly
swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of city manager
city manager
for the city of Two Rivers
for the city of Two Rivers
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have for information only. Closed session.
Yes, just as noted on the agenda, the listening session on the 16th, next regular meeting on the 18th, work session on the 25th, and I would note the Joint Review Board for our TIF districts meets 3 p.m. on Wednesday of this week, and that's to review the TIF annual report. Also on their agenda is election of a public member, where we have a vacancy right now. So you and any of the public or council members welcome to attend. We do have a closed session on the agenda, which we do need, please. And I would note that it is noted per night, and the council president will read that it is for discussion matters pertaining to collective bargaining with police and fire unions, and it is in the way of an update from staff. I don't anticipate any action on reconvening an open session other than to adjourn for the evening.
We will take a 5-minute break while people still get cupcakes and such, and then we'll go into closed session. So, take 5 minutes. So we're not kicking people over. 5 minutes.